Effective communication.
Effective conversation skills.
Understanding, managing, and practicing meaningful dialogue. At the end of the lesson, students are expected to 1. Identify main ideas and supporting details in spoken texts. 2. Recognize common politeness markers in dialogues. 3. Explain basic conversation management strategies. 4. Use politeness markers properly in conversations. 5. Reverse conversation strategies effectively in role plays. 6. Reflections on and assess personal conversation skills. And 7. Identify and improve conversation techniques. Each group will discuss 1. What kind of communication style does this host have? Serious, funny, formal, relaxed?
2. What topics do they usually discuss? 3. How do they handle conversations or interviews? 4. How do they show politeness, empathy, or professionalism? 5. What makes them engaging to their audience?
Note: each group presents a short 2-minute report on their assigned host. Processing questions. 1. What similarities or differences do you notice among these hosts?
2. Which personality do you think is the most effective communicator? Why? 3. How can we apply some of their communication strategies in our own conversations?
What makes a good interviewer? 1. What qualities do you think a good interviewer should have? Why?
2. How can an interviewer make their guests feel comfortable and safe to share? 3. Why is listening more important than talking in an interview? 4. How can the tone and facial expression of the interviewer affect the conversation? 5. What are some examples of polite or respectful questions to ask in an interview?
What makes a good interviewer?
6. How can an interviewer show empathy or understanding without interrupting?
7. Why is it important to ask clear and thoughtful questions? 8. What behaviors should an interviewer avoid during an interview? 9. If you were to interview someone today, what 2 to 3 things would you make sure to do? 10. Who is a good interviewer you've seen or heard before? What made them effective?
Personal topics. You deal with your internal world, your thoughts, feelings, goals, and personal growth.
Interpersonal topics, meaningful interactions with others, building relationships through communication, empathy, and mutual understanding.
Personal topics.
1. Self-awareness.
Understanding your own emotions, behavior, and motivations.
Example: I
realize I get anxious before speaking in front of people.
Personal topics 2.
Personal values.
Beliefs or morals that guide your decisions and behavior, valuing honesty, kindness, respect, or hard work.
Personal topics. 3. Personal goals.
What you want to achieve in life, short-term or long-term. Example: I want to become a teacher someday. Or, I want to improve my time management.
Personal topics. 4. Personal identity.
How you define yourself, your culture, personality, beliefs, and life experiences. I see myself as creative and independent.
Numeral topics. 5. Mental health.
The state of your emotional and psychological well-being. It's kind of making about managing stress, dealing with anxiety, or practicing mindfulness.
Personal topic 6. Self-care. Things you do to take care of your body, mind, and emotions, except sleeping well, eating healthy, taking breaks, doing things you enjoy. Personal topics. Help students express themselves clearly, reflect deeply, and connect their thoughts to real-life situations.
Personal topics.
You deal with your internal world, your thoughts, feelings, goals, and personal growth. Interpersonal topics. Meaningful interactions with others, building relationships through communication, empathy, and mutual understanding.
Interpersonal topics.
1. Communication. The exchange of ideas, information, and emotions between people.
Exant. Use this in role plays, interviews, conversations, or group discussions to practice clarity, listening, and speaking.
Interpersonal topics. 2. Conflict resolution. The skill of handling disagreements respectfully and finding solutions. Extently, apply this in scenario-based activities or classroom simulations where students solve misunderstandings or negotiate outcomes.
Interpersonal topics. 3.
Empathy means understanding and sharing the feelings of others.
Example. Let students reflect through writing, partner interviews, or walk in their shoes storytelling exercises.
Interpersonal topics.
4. Teamwork. Involves working together to achieve a shared goal. Exants encourage this during group projects, class games, or peer collaboration tasks.
Interpersonal topics.
5. Leadership. Guiding and inspiring others toward a goal. X. Let students take turns leading group activities, planning presentations, or mentoring peers.
Interpersonal Topic 6. Negotiation, reaching an agreement through respectful discussion and compromise. Example, use mock market scenarios, debate setups, or problem-solving tasks that involve back-and-forth discussion. Interpersonal Topics. 7. Networking. Building connections with people for support, growth, or collaboration. Example, have students create personal introduction scripts, conduct mock networking events, or write professional bios. Interpersonal Topics. 8. Building relationships. The act of forming and maintaining healthy connections with others. Example, use reflection prompts, appreciation activities, or journaling about friendships and connections. Interpersonal Topics. Interpersonal topics are life skills. They make students better communicators, better teammates, and more thoughtful individuals, both inside and outside the classroom. Conversation techniques. Conversation techniques refer to the methods or approaches that speakers use to effectively handle and guide interactions during communication. These conversation techniques include managing turns in conversation, asking for clarification or repetition, expressing agreement or disagreement respectfully, and providing feedback, among others. Adapted from Richards, J.C. and Schmidt, R. 2010, Longman Dictionary of Language Teaching and Applied Linguistics, Pearson Education Limited. Conversation Techniques 1. Turn-taking. Knowing when to speak or let others speak. Example statement. Let's hear him out first. Go ahead. You may speak after I finish. Conversation Techniques 2. Active listening, showing attentiveness through nodding, eye contact, and body language. Example statement, I see what you mean. That's interesting. Conversation Techniques 3. Feedback giving, offering comments like, example, I agree, or that's a good point. Nonverbal, thumbs up, clapping. Conversation Techniques 4. Asking for clarification, asking for an explanation. Gestures of confusion, like scratching the head. Example statement. Sorry, could you explain what you mean by that statement? Conversation Techniques 5. Asking for repetition, mimicking or ear cupping gesture. Example statement. Would you mind repeating the last part? Conversation Technique 6. Interrupting, politely raising a hand gently or saying, excuse me. Example statement, sorry to interrupt, but may I add something? Conversation technique 7, showing agreement. Smiling and nodding. Example statement, I agree. I have the same idea. Conversation techniques 8, disagreeing politely. Shaking head with a calm facial expression. Example statement, I get your point, but I have a different opinion. That's interesting, but I have another idea. Conversation techniques 9, summarizing. Retelling what someone said in a shorter form. Example, statement, in other words, so what you are saying is. Conversation techniques 10, asking questions. 5 W's and 1 H basic question starters for asking questions, and especially follow-up questions. Example statement, why do you think, how did you know? Conversation techniques. Conversation techniques are important because they help make communication clear, respectful, and effective. They ensure smooth interactions, prevent misunderstandings, promote politeness, and encourage active participation. Adapted from Richards, J.C., and Schmidt, R. 2010. Longman Dictionary of Language Teaching and Applied Linguistics. Pearson Education Limited. Expressions of courtesy in communication. Expressions of courtesy in communication. Expressions of courtesy are words or phrases used to show consideration for another person's feelings or social needs. These often involve indirect language, modal verbs, or softening expressions that help reduce the force of requests, commands, or disagreements. Adapted from Ewell, G., 1996. Pragmatics, Oxford University Press. Expressions of courtesy in communication. 1. Could you? This phrase is commonly used to make polite requests. It softens the tone of a command or instruction, making the request sound more respectful and less demanding. Example, instead of saying, close the window, you can say, could you please close the window? Expressions of courtesy in communication 2. I was wondering if. This is a gentle and indirect way of asking for something, often used in spoken English. It shows hesitation or respect, which makes the request sound more courteous. Example, I was wondering if you could help me with my homework. Expressions of courtesy in communication. Do you mind if? This is a polite way of asking for permission. It acknowledges the other person's comfort or opinion before doing something. Example, do you mind if I sit here? If the person says no, it means they don't mind, so you may proceed. Expressions of courtesy in communication. 4. Pardon me. This expression is often used to politely ask someone to repeat what they said, especially if you didn't hear or understand them. It's also used when interrupting or excusing yourself in a conversation. Example, pardon me, could you repeat that? Or, pardon me, I didn't mean to interrupt. Expressions of courtesy in communication. 5. I would love to, but this is a polite and gracious way to decline an invitation or request. It shows appreciation while gently turning down the offer, often followed by a reason. Example, I would love to join you for dinner, but I already have plans tonight. Expressions of courtesy in communication. Expressions of courtesy are important because they promote respect, prevent conflict, strengthen relationships, and create positive, effective communication. Conversation Skit Challenge. 1. Divide the class into small groups, 4 or 5 members. 2. Each group will create their own realistic scenario where conversation techniques and expressions of courtesy in communication are naturally used, e.g., resolving a misunderstanding, making a request, planning an event. 3. The group must choose at least 3 conversation techniques and expressions of courtesy to highlight in their role play and incorporate politeness markers throughout the dialogue. All group members must participate in the role play, taking on different roles within the scenario. 4. After the performance, the rest of the class will identify the conversation strategies and expressions of courtesy used. The teacher provides feedback and facilitates a short reflection on effective communication. Third, performance task. Importance of conversation techniques and courtesy in communication. Students are required to compare and contrast conversation techniques and courtesy in communication, followed by a written reflection on the importance of both, first, in the context of being a student, and second, in everyday life. Once the reflection is completed, students must post their comment under the Week 3 Effective Communication video lesson on the class YouTube channel. After posting, they should take a screenshot of their comment and paste it in their activity notebook as proof of submission. Thank you and God bless.